Hi, my name is Darren Heartwell. I'd like to introduce to you the 2017 NTPA Light Superstock Grand National Champions, Mike Chizek, Brian Korth, with the Considered Armed and Dangerous team out of Newton, Wisconsin. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Brian. Now, this is a very dominant team. Just a few stats off the top. They won 4 out of the 7 hooks this year, 2 with Considered Armed and Dangerous, and 2 with Armed and Dangerous Excessive Force. Their third tractor really came on as the season went along, the Armed and Dangerous Deadly Force. This team has now won 7 titles in 8 years. So third title on this tractor. Mike, why don't you start off? What does this title mean to you?
Well, this was the closest battle that we had in a long time. So this one meant a lot. We did do everything that we could to protect ourselves from winning. We had to let one of the competitors do it for us to allow us to win. So that meant a lot. Not only could we get the job done, someone else actually helped us to endure our 8th title or 7th title.
Brian?
It was a tough season, all the way, because we just really started out backwards with that tractor at Toma and knew we had to overcome some hurdles here. Once you start out losing, you have to throw everything at it to get back on top. And Jason Hoopman threw everything at his to try and conquer us. But it was just, the 1-point deal here, that gets over the top. And that's about as sweet as you can get it, when it comes down to 1 point.
Right, exactly. So Langford, New York kind of seemed to be a turning point. There was 2 sessions in one day. It was a brand new track for everybody. 2 sessions, an afternoon session, an evening session. So you guys came in trailing after Brandenburg, Kentucky. Came in trailing by a point. After the afternoon session, you guys tied it up. Evening session took the win and a Grand National points lead that you would not relinquish. Would you say that was the turning point of the season?
Positively, you had to really drive the tractor up there. It was such a slippery track, and with me and Mike's experience, we overcame that in a big hurry. As soon as we hooked to the first tractor, we knew there was trouble on the track as far as not just hooking on and letting the clutch out and going. You had to drive it for the first 100 feet, and once you got that conquered, you were on top of the world with it. And we figured that out, and it was just unbelievable, how well it worked for us.
Right. So now going into Bowling Green, into that last hook, it was tight. You guys had a 2-point lead. Tell us about that. I mean, what?
Well, it's better to be on top going into something like that, whatever, because you don't know never how it's going to work. And when you're working your way out from on the bottom, one mishap, and you're not there, Considered laid down some good passes, whatever, and it was just enough to get it done. I mean, Jason made it as exciting as you can. I mean, he was within 3 inches of winning it all, the ring, the championship or whatever, but it just came down to that last little bit, and we were lucky enough to come out on top.
Okay, great. Now you guys have had a long partnership, very successful partnership. How does that work between the two of you guys?
Well, it works, 2 ways. You got to be strong enough to come up with the plan, and you got to be strong enough to come up with what didn't work. And we have that discussion quite often when we leave. What definitely didn't work is more obviously the problem. And we both come up with what our thoughts were, and that's how we strive to be better. All the good tracks everybody can drive. It's the bad tracks or how you get your tractor to hook to the bad tracks is where you win. Championships is what we looked at. I mean, me and Brian talked many years ago how we could ever hook to that track. How could we ever hook to this track? We're just terrible at it. And now we got it somewhat figured out. Occasionally he'll throw us for a loop, but that's how what we classify. Our time is to figure out what we did do right or what we could have done better.
Okay. Brian, your perspective
you
on
know,
that?
pretty close to Mike. I mean, it was overcoming the bad tracks, and you know, 8, 9 years ago, you know, I mean, we utterly sucked on the bad tracks, and right now, you know, we can look at a lot of stuff and we know how to overcome it. It was just for the simple fact of Langford, you know, whatever, was so slippery, and we were the first ones really to get it out at the end, you know, down at that pole or whatever, and everybody was falling off our lead, you know, as far as what we were doing there, you know, and there's just a lot of grass, but you don't have in your hands. It comes down to a number game, you know, when you hook. Brandenburg seems to be really attracted. If you're not early, you're not the winner.
Okay, okay. Now, who would you guys like to thank?
Well, I like to thank my wife, especially because she's not here behind the scenes in front of this camera, but tractors, hauler, she has that stuff spotless week in and week out. You know, Cody, obviously, he's with us every hook this year, and we definitely do need an extra hand. Me and Brian looked at it a year ago with that third tractor, and we both kind of agreed it's not meant for two people to have 3 tractors. It just don't work. But obviously Brian and his wife, because there's, you know, again this year another 45, 47 days we were gone, you know, in a short period of time. So, you know, Blackbourne's, K3 Tire, you know, people at Chizek Transport, they also have their hands in keeping these tractors, you know, going up and down the track. So there's a lot of people that, besides us two, you know, shown on TV, we only look good is when our equipment goes down the track. And, you know, if we can get it to start and fire, you know, hook to the sled, you know, then it's in our hands. But, you know, there's a lot of necessary people that help us get here.
Right. Brian?
You know, to the Chizek family, you know, Cody has stepped up to the plate so big this summer. I mean, he was there every minute when we needed him, you know, whatever, and he can do anything on this team as far as moving the tractors around and getting things ready, you know, whatever. And there's only going to be great things to come from that young man, and pretty proud of him right now, the way he handled that this summer. You know, then again, my wife, you know, there's times she's along and times she ain't. So, you know, she's holding down the fort this weekend again, you know, and you know, K3 Tire and Terry and Josh, I mean, they're the driving force, you know. Terry's knowledge and Josh's knowledge, there is just none greater than we've ever seen.
Great, great. So any final thoughts on this championship?
I would say we hope to be back next year, you know, to give it another round. You know, competition is definitely stepping up their game, and we, you know, we look, you know, also to do the same. But we hope to be back for next year, and we'll you know, give it another go around.
You know, just come back and repeat, you know, whatever, until we get knocked off the hill here. I mean, this has been a great run for us. Nobody realizes what it takes to win 7 titles, you know, and you know, this team has all worked well together, and it's all, you know, all the whole, you know, all the guys we mentioned. I mean, we would not be here without them.
Right, right. Well, and that's what tractor pulling is. It's a team sport. It's a, you know, a family sport. You know, Mike's son Cody, you guys mentioned him coming along, helping out with the team, really taking on a bigger role, and it's just awesome to see that continue. So, congratulations, guys. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.